David, a group of fans on Wednesday morning spoke to me and described Tuesday night and how they felt leaving the ground, and they felt that your side were outplayed, outmuscled and outclassed. Your thoughts on Tuesday night?
We weren't outplayed, outmuscled, debatable. Having seen the DVD, and obviously they haven't had the opportunity to reflect on that. The boys were in at 9 o'clock on Wednesday to reflect on it. Certainly the opening moments, I think that we were not at the races. We certainly weren't, I don't know, the word you're looking for, it escapes me, because the fact of the matter is that we switched off at the beginning of the match. I don't know whether the tension of playing a side that are expected to be in the top 2 or 3 got to a couple of experienced players, normally reliable players that have been very good. So I wouldn't say all those phrases fit the bill, but I was disappointed in my defenders that have been very reliable, and players that, you know, fans here that hold them in high esteem, and rightly so, because they've been reliable. But the other night, certainly, the fractions at the beginning of the game, you can't give away 2 goals to any side, let alone a side that, you know, and give them encouragement that way. But on the night, David, I think that we played some very good attacking football, but we defensively were found wanting, and individual errors have cost us moments in the game which contributed to the defeat.
Like you said, David, you've had the benefit of re-watching the DVD. After watching that DVD, where do you think the positives are from Tuesday night?
Well, I felt we created a number of chances. I think Terry Brown will be very pleased with his side's athleticism and certainly their mood. But the first minute is a telling factor. 2 of our players switched off down the right-hand side defensively. But the positives, I think Louis Briscoe had one of the finest performances I've seen from a player at his level for a long, long time. I thought Ashley Caines had a very good debut. Adam Murray had a strong game in midfield, as did Gary Mills. Carl Nicks played a supporting role, fine. Attacking wise, we did fine. Defensively, our defenders were questioned, and they need to bounce back from that. I'll have to put it down to one game, because in other games we've been, you know, we were up there prior to that game in the top 2 or 3 defensive record. So I think fans will be disappointed in the mannerisms, but likewise so was I, and so were the players, and they were reminded of those on Wednesday. How
much did Alan Marriott's injury, shall we say, play a part in maybe unsettling your defenders on Tuesday night?
Perhaps so. Leading up to the game, Alan felt he could play, and you have to trust players, obviously, their judgments. I did ask Alan whether he could do it, because he obviously, you know, he's been struggling with his groin. He wanted to play, but you have to trust people's judgment, and ultimately he had to come off. But Neil Collett can't be held responsible for the second half. The goals there were one good break, but we're pushing to get into the game, and they were going to be dangerous on the counter attack. But when you're 3-1 down, you've got to try and get in the game, and so the mindset changes. But you know, I give credit to Wimbledon, but likewise, I certainly believe, and I think Terry Brown will know that if he's a bright manager, he'll know that we contributed to our own downfall, and he'd be upset if his defenders defended the way we did.
David, I brought up on Monday, I believe, your record against your rivals, your promotion rivals at the top of this league.
You like this one, don't you?
All 5 defeats that you've had this season have been against those playoff contenders, those promotion contenders that you want to take on. Mm. What do you make in the light of Tuesday night of those stats?
They're there to be questioned, David. I respect, your journalistical view on it is fine. But then, prior to the season, you know, we were not expected to be in the top 10. We've been in the top 2, we've been in the top 3. We now currently hold 6th place. Teams at the top have been beaten by teams at the bottom. But if we're going to get into that top 6, top 8, where we're not expected to be prior to the start of the season, then obviously we must maintain a high level of defensive qualities. Attacking wise, we've been up there with the best of them, but defenders need to stand up and be counted. The game against Fleetwood and the game against Wimbledon have contributed 8 goals of our of our against sheet. So, those defenders must either stand up and be counted, or find themselves vulnerable in a position where they may have to be replaced sooner or later. And ultimately, they have to prove a point to me and to the fans that they can play for Mansfield Town on a stage and try and contribute to being in the top 8 teams in this league. We wasn't expected to be. We've overcooked the egg, if you like, at times. But I expect us to be. I have ambitions at this football club, and I'm sure the new owner does. Those players were brought in the summer to do a job. And whilst I respect other teams, I certainly want to be in the higher part of the division. And you must maintain consistent standards. If they don't keep them consistent standards, there'll be questioned.
Expectations, though, change over a season, David, for nearly every side in this division, I believe. But in terms of playing those sides at the top of the table, your main rivals, your main contenders, there have to be questions now as to whether your players can perform on the big stage.
Well, we lie 6th in the league, David.
But on the big stage, against those big sides, we can go back to last season as well, where I believe you only picked up 3 wins against sides who finished in the playoff places. There has to be the question asked now, when it is that big stage,
yes,
can your players perform?
I totally agree.
And are you still searching for those answers as well?
They're questionable, and certainly we have to make sure that our preparation can't be any better. Motivation can't be any better. They've performed very high in some games, but the equivalent of that, David, is that Mansfield Town prior to this season, with the expectancy levels of other teams, and certainly the way teams are going about it regarding bringing in high quality players, you have to be able to be judged on that. Whether these players can sustain the quality we expect is up to them. They have to go out and perform.
Your word in there, David's interesting. Your words on Tuesday night as well, post-match, in regard to there is money now to spend at this club, or that's what we've been led to believe at least. Are you now looking at players whether they're going to remain at this club past January?
Only they can prove that, David. Things have changed. The club is now stable, which is the most important thing. And I've said that prior to Mr. Radford coming, is that the sustainability of the football club. Mr. Radford has come in and said that there's now no danger of us treading on hot coals regarding the financial backing. I think that some people will look into it and think that Mr. Radford's going to come in here and wave a magic wand. I don't think that happens overnight. We've got a squad together based on the facts that we had in the summer. I brought in Adam Murray since, so nothing too much has changed regarding that direction. If that needs to change at Christmas, then I'll certainly look at it prior to Christmas with a view to bringing in players that I feel that can improve the squad, and that goes whether it's defenders or attacking wise or whatever position. We must, if we're going to break into that top 6, then certainly you have to have a high quality of player. That means defenders that can do the basics right, basic defending, and obviously attackers that can put the ball in the net. We're not shy of players that can do that. We've got very good capabilities going forward. Those defenders that came under question in games need to step up to the mark.
Mr. Radford has gone publicly on record to say that he now believes that Mansfield Town are in a position where they can compete financially with the top 5 clubs in this division. Yeah. Therefore, expectations change upon your players' shoulders as well as yours.
Yeah, of course, and that's down to being able to bring those type of players in to compete at the top level, and there's a time for that. The window being shut at the moment, obviously you can't do it at the moment, so nothing's changed other than we brought in Adam Murray on loan. The texture of that is a longer term project. Certainly Mr. Radford is been good enough to explain that to your good selves. If players that are here that were brought in under contract in the summer can't sustain the quality that I would like, then obviously I'll ask the question if they needed to be replaced at the right time, then I'll do so. But we have to give these boys an opportunity to perform. And where we are at the moment is that obviously I'd say 80% of the time they've been very good, but there's been a couple of games that we've certainly let themselves down.
So you've got 1 or 2 knocks and illnesses, but I mean, apart from Alan Merritt, is there anybody who might not make it?
Same problem. No, it might be going to fever. He's got a virus. It may turn in. We don't know. It could be anything, but he came up. He looked like a hamster yesterday, so kept him out of the way. He did. So he doesn't want to miss a game next week. But for me now, it's to keep him out of the way because he looked ill yesterday. He came in. He wants to be part of it, but there's intelligent footballers and footballers that are non-intelligent. You just got to make sure that he's right. he wants his heart's in the right place, Kyle, and he's been playing well. But at the end of the day, no good coming in and giving everybody everything.